Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan James. I'm a mindset coach that loves to focus on relationships. And I know some of you have been asking me for content other than relationships. But to be honest, I'm personally very passionate about relationships because there's quite a few things that go into creating a healthy relationship. And especially when you're thinking about self-concept, there's quite a few things tied up into the concept of relationships, your past, the examples you saw growing up, beliefs you may hold about men or women, beliefs you hold about yourself, commitment, affection, your ability to receive affection, your ability to give affection, the type of individuals you're attracted to. There's a lot that goes into relationships. And so I'm personally passionate about seeing people outgrow negative patterns and actually be treated properly in relationships. And for that reason, that's why I do content on it. Now, I understand that mindset, again, translates into so many different aspects of your life. And even when people work with me one-on-one, I help them with things like career, you know, things like fitness, adopting the right mindset in order to change eating habits, stuff like that. So looking at different beliefs and how that really impacts different areas of your life. But I love to focus on relationships. So I'm sorry to say that I'm going to continue to make content about relationships. But again, it's just because I'm so personally passionate about this topic. And in today's video, I want to talk about how you are the one that decides what occurs in your life. Now, when I'm saying you're the one that decides who occurs in your life, I'm not talking about controlling or manipulating the people around you. As you grow and change, you create the potential and ability to form new dynamics with random people, specific people. I mean, it's going to be obvious. Think about it. If I really change as a person, then the dynamics that I've experienced with people have to change because you're no longer interacting with the same version. I don't know, this piece of hair is annoying me. You're no longer interacting with the same version of me. So that dynamic literally can't form because I'm not going to give the same responses, right? So another thing that I want to say too, in my personal approach, I never worry about free will. I think if you're worried about somebody's free will, one, it is okay for you to have desires. And if you're in a belief system that actually is healthy and balanced and normalizes creating the relationships that you desire and has good, healthy beliefs about men or women, commitment, your ability to pursue or be pursued, you're not going to form negative obsessions, negative attachments, be stalking or chasing after somebody or trying to force yourself onto them. Okay. And you're also really not going to be worried about free will, who they're talking to, who they may be involved with. In my opinion, when people are worried about free will, it just means they're insecure. Right. So essentially what they're saying is somebody has to have absolutely no free will. They cannot be their own autonomous individual in order for them to want to be with me. The only way that they would want to be with me is if they have absolutely no free will, which in my opinion, again, just translates as very, very insecure. Okay. I want people, I mean, we all should want people to have free will, and you can take on an identity where people will choose to be with you with their free will. In fact, I want somebody to choose to be with me with their own free will. Now, what does that mean? The only person you're focusing on is you. That's why you get to decide what you get out of life. And I've made quite a few videos in the past about the power of the word no. You have to really realize what the intention and the focus is here on my channel, which I understand you may have externalized goals in terms of relationships, monetary success, fitness goals, whatever it may be, right? Obviously, we're doing mindset work so that we can experience things physically. But in order for things to materialize differently physically for us, we have to actually change. We actually have to take on a version of ourselves that is congruent generally with that type of result, which means you may be entertaining things right now that you need to start saying no to. You need to build healthier beliefs, and you need to really look at how you're showing up during the day and address your intrusive thoughts and behaviors and begin to make different choices. I've said oftentimes, though, in a lot of content that it's not a trying process. So I want to explain that one more time. What do I mean by it's not a trying process? If you are experiencing, for instance, okay, let me give an example right now that a lot of people seem to struggle with, which is like checking behavior. Okay. Like if you get insecure, right? And like you're starting to like somebody, but all of a sudden you're like, who are they following? Who's liking their photos? Who's commenting on their photos? And you can't control it. you're not trying to manifest that behavior. You're not trying to manifest that experience that you're creating with yourself, right? So when you take on new beliefs, much like how the beliefs you currently hold right now are causing you to automatically show up, behave, entertain, and perceive your reality in a particular way and recreate patterns that maybe you don't like, when you get into a new belief system, you're going to automatically show up in a new way, entertain new things, have new thoughts, have new behaviors, and be able to create new dynamics that you actually do like. Right. So that's what I mean by it's not a trying process. Obviously, there's going to be some trying in terms of adjusting yourself. That's why I have nighttime recordings. That's why I have daily meditations. That's why I have whole videos and playlists on the importance of nervous system regulation. So when you're using a nighttime recording, when you're doing daily meditations, when you're doing nervous system regulation, the intention here is not to have to do this stuff for the rest of your life. One, you need to accurately identify and address what actually needs to be changed within you. So some of you are like, I'm feeling really insecure, or I just need to build my confidence. Let me put on something like I'm the best nighttime recording, right? And I can understand that, but you need to dig deeper. Why am I feeling insecure? Why am I comparing myself? Right. So if I just slap affirmations on some, that like I'm just the best, because I understand again the rationality behind that. If I really believe I'm the best, I'm not going to be engaging with these things. Okay. But the reality is, maybe you're feeling insecure or you're lacking confidence because you hold beliefs like I always have to compete in love. Or maybe you grew up in a household where you had an inconsistent mother or father. And so you have a really hard time normalizing the presence of somebody being committed to you or actually interested in you or actually wanting to get to know you. Right. And so these deeper things that are going on at the surface level are manifesting as I'm feeling a little, lacking confidence, when the reality is I'm operating from an identity that is completely in contradiction to this experience. And that's why I'm feeling insecure or lacking confidence. All right. To go back to what I was saying, though, the intention here is not to have to do nighttime recordings or like nervous system regulation and daily meditations for the rest of your life. Although I will say we're always growing and changing. So maybe what happens is as you go along, you change what you're applying. But I imagine it like when you're in one identity and you want to get to another identity, these things are tools like a bridge that take you from one version of yourself to another. And they're the guardrails that keep you from like kind of falling off the bridge. Because as you accurately identify and address the things that need to be changed within you, you're going to go through a lot of changes each day in how you're perceiving your reality and how you're feeling, how you begin to interpret things and respond to life. And so these practices really help keep you aligned until you fully integrated with this new way of identifying and operating in your life. All right. So when I'm saying you're the one that gets to decide who you are and what you get out of life, instead of looking at everybody else and what everybody's doing, why aren't they texting me? Why aren't they this? First off, you shouldn't even be waiting for text messages. You all already know that. Okay. I've already done tons of videos on that. I want you to look at it more like, what do I need to believe? Who do I need to become? Where creating those experiences is a normalized thing for me. And in the meantime, if there's bullshit or things that I don't like going on in my current reality, I can handle them. I can begin to say no. I can begin to uphold standards. I can begin to uphold boundaries and create newer and better dynamics. You need to fearlessly step into this new version of yourself, which makes sense. If I want to create new things in my life, I have to begin to show up and operate differently. Now, the important part to this is most of our decision-making models are subconscious. Most of the patterns we play out are subconscious. So we can exert force over ourselves and begin to adopt new habits and way of responding to life to a certain degree. But if you don't actually make a change within how you're identified, you'll only get so far. Okay. And I'm not saying this as a limitation. I'm saying this out of concern for you so you understand and you're in the most knowledgeable and prepared space you can possibly be to create this change sustainably. You will only get so far. So yes, you may be able to calm yourself down and begin to make changes in how you're adjusting yourself and what you're entertained during the day. But if you have deep-seated, unhealthy beliefs, as things progress, you're going to find it becomes more and more and more triggering, and you fall back into old ways of operating and behaving automatically because that's how beliefs work. They automatically create your thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and perceptions. That's the not trying process. Another thing, too, with the not trying process, you should not have to try and get somebody to be interested in you. You should not have to try to get somebody to reach out to you. You should not have to be sitting here and trying to get people to recognize you or love you. Like, that is just plain and simple. Even if you're pursuing somebody, okay? You should not be trying to get somebody to respond to you. You should not be trying to get somebody's attention. You should not be trying to get them to respect you. So, anytime that you feel like you're trying with something, you really, really need to take a step back and ask yourself, why am I trying so hard? Who do I need to be to where I would handle this completely differently and I can normalize this experience and I can begin to show up differently? Because getting a relationship should not be pushing a boulder up a mountain. Getting into your desired university and getting good grades should not be pushing a boulder up a mountain. Leveling up in your career and being successful should not be pushing a boulder up a mountain. And I know some people might argue with me on that. You can absolutely take the hustle approach, but if you understand that your behaviors are an automatic manifestation of your beliefs, then you can get into a belief system where you're automatically showing up in a way and doing the things that you need to do and overcoming challenges in a way that feels easy for you because you're just automatically creating those behaviors. You're not perceiving anything as big or difficult. You're able to handle everything in a very regulated way. And that's realistic. You don't have to struggle, is what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a struggle. If you want to struggle, go ahead. Okay. If you really want to embrace the hustle and struggle lifestyle, fine. I personally am in the gym 3 hours a day. I'm in multiple meetings every single day, sending out emails all the time and doing the most. I don't feel like it's a struggle though. Okay. And people could say that's me hustling, but I'm in a belief system that causes me to automatically show up this way and handle life this way. So, again, as somebody that's doing it, okay, you can absolutely step into a version of yourself where you create success automatically. Just like how, think about it, if you can automatically create the things you don't want, then you can automatically create the things that you do want. It doesn't feel like you're trying to create the things that you don't want. So you can get into a belief system where it doesn't feel like you're trying to create the things that you do want. It's normal. Nobody to change but self. Okay. So I hope that gave you all a little reminder. I know I put in my community tab the other day that I have some coaching available for April. Y'all ran through that real quick. Okay. I really don't do very much coaching. I do like maybe one session a day and it's 2 hours long because I have to do a very deep dive to figure out what's actually going on. But I did open some more kind of towards the end of April and the beginning of next month. So I just want to say this here because I know quite a few people were like on my website and looking at that. If you missed that, there's another opportunity. Okay. Anyways, I love you all so much. I'll see you all later and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.